Hey guys, well, it's been a busy day. Sorry, I've been busy with the TV show, and I know it's been a few hours since we've been around here. The last one was reacting to Messi's match with Argentina last night, and this one will have to be reacting, besides this, to the official statement that Bernardo Silva is now officially, well, it was unofficial before, a Real Madrid player. And also reacting to what Cristiano did with Portugal, a 1-1 draw against Congo, and certainly in this case, after what happened with Mbappe, Messi, and Haaland yesterday, we're definitely not talking about a great performance. Like with Spain, it's about how it ends, not how it starts. Let's begin. Welcome, Madridistas. How are you all doing? This is something we were already expecting, of course, and Madrid chose the day Portugal was making its debut. You can probably imagine, right? They're saying this is all a joke, obviously. Well, there are people who don't take it as a joke. There are people who really believe these things have an influence, that they destabilize teams and national squads, right? World Cup favorites, but Real Madrid's announcement about Bernardo Silva today disrupted their plans. I don't know, but Bernardo had a quiet first half, just like the rest of his teammates, but he left at halftime. At first, I thought maybe it was because he was injured, and then what I think Bobby Martinez wanted to do was, well, bring on Conceição, who was the one who replaced him, to open up the field a bit more and have a winger who cuts inside less and gets more to the byline. But this didn't really work for Portugal either. Well, Bernardo Silva, who signed with Real Madrid for 2 seasons with an option for a third, as was reported the other day. Look, we saw them before the Cucurella thing, and yet the Cucurella deal happened much faster, even the official announcement. Guys, let me know in the comments, Cristiano, what did you think? Here you can make some considerations like, no, but of course, it's just that Cristiano, that one doesn't count anymore. The one I'm about to say doesn't count. No, it's just that Cristiano, it's not like in Argentina where everyone works for Messi. Yeah, are we still buying this? Sorry, we're still buying this. We also have to say, besides, that Cristiano is a little older than Messi, right? We keep believing that because everyone works for Messi in Argentina, things go better for him than for Cristiano, whose team doesn't, or that Argentina is better than Portugal. Do we really think that? Although Argentina is the reigning world champion, people often underestimate Portugal, even though they have a great team. The current champions of the Nations League, who beat Spain on penalties last year, with Vitinha, with Nuno Mendes, with João Neves, with Bernardo Silva, with the amazing team they have. They were disappointing today for sure, and keep in mind that Congo is a team that hasn't just sat back, not at all. They've had chances definitely to even win the match. It was up for grabs really, but it was a team you could take advantage of because, hey, they didn't park the bus, right? And well, they haven't been sharp, but I have no doubt that Portugal is going to go far. It's also true that Portugal is a team that tends to disappoint later in the World Cups. And also, they usually start off slow, at least from what I remember, and then get better as the tournament goes on. Portugal's first World Cup match is always like this, though someone will remind me they once scored 7 against another team, right? I think in one match, I think it was against North Korea, didn't they score 7 or 8 goals against North Korea in South Africa 2010? I think it was something like that. But anyway, Portugal's group stage in the last World Cups hasn't been spectacular, not at all. Even so, they have to improve a lot. And let's not even talk about Cristiano. 0 goals, 0 shots on target. There was one that just missed. It was the clearest chance, one of the clearest chances Portugal had, and Cristiano was the one who had it. 0 goals, 0 shots on target, 0 completed dribbles, 0 key passes, 0 fouls won, 0 successful crosses. Do you know why I don't like playing this tired game? Because it's a very unfair game, since you do it with one person and then tomorrow they'll do it with someone you like, right? The other day when those numbers about Gabi came out, 0-0-0-0-0-0-0, I didn't promote it here either. I discussed Gabi's performance, focusing on how Luis de la Fuente put him there, right? Because to me, Gabi doesn't seem as weak as a lot of people think. It's true that he's a player who's a bit short on talent and relies more on grit, on fighting, on biting, and I think that's why he put him there, right? Because of the pressing up front, which was a huge mistake, because what you really needed were wingers. Before the match, you might not realize it, but during the match, De La Fuente reacted too late. He should have taken Gabi off much sooner, but waited too long. But it wasn't so much about his stats, but rather the fact that the match was going in one direction and the coach just didn't realize it. Because in other situations, Gabi might work a little better. And that thing about, look at his stats, 0, 0, 0, 0. Many of those who pointed that out about Gabi the other day, well, today with this thing about Cristiano, they'll say, well, but now it doesn't count. No, it counts the same here. Here, if he plays like that, it counts the same. And honestly, Cristiano's performance has been pretty disappointing, right? Because it's true that Cristiano is limited. I mean, Cristiano can hook anyone. Yeah, Cristiano is the greatest goal scorer in the history of football. He's going to reach 1,000 goals. Look, Bellingham is starting for England, even though they said maybe Tuchel wouldn't put him in the starting lineup. I'm here watching the national anthems for England versus Croatia. And Cristiano is still good for certain things. And we usually compare him to Messi. I don't like to get into that comparison because it's a completely different game. It has always been different. Messi often drops back to start the play. Messi can afford the luxury of playing wherever he wants. Cristiano focused his game more on a specific area of the field. He started out as a winger. He ended up as a center forward. We got to enjoy both versions of him at Real Madrid. And he can bring down a washing machine. He scores incredible goals. But the years don't go by for nothing. And it's tough. And it's tough depending on the context of the match. Cristiano will definitely score goals and have a good game in the group stage. I'll be there for the next match against Uzbekistan in Houston. Let's go. We'll be there in the stadium. And well, let's see if I can celebrate a goal from Cristiano there. Well, more things that happened today because Real Madrid has submitted the famous dossier to UEFA. And of course, that's something everyone was expecting, right? Hey, this Dalic guy has been around forever because we talk about Muslera with Uruguay. Wow, this man is still with the Croatian national team and Perisic is too. Well, Modric, of course. Let's see which Modric shows up and how he plays. This statement from Real Madrid about the dossier to UEFA says the following. Real Madrid announces that in the so-called Negreira case, it should have said Madrid instead. Not saying everything is wrong, but in the Barcelona Negreira case, Barcelona was paying him. They've sent a document to UEFA's disciplinary bodies. In that document, the club has informed UEFA of the existence of relevant evidence that conclusively reinforces the sorry, I don't have this set up, I haven't shared it. Conclusively, the evidence already known from the beginning about its existence. Conclusive, from the beginning, opaque, and lacking any verifiable justification made by FC Barcelona to the former vice president of the Technical Committee of Referees of the Royal Spanish Football Federation, José María Enrique Negreira, through different corporate structures. Madrid emphasizes that these facts constitute, from the perspective of sports disciplinary law, a risk. Watch out, this is important. From the perspective of sports disciplinary law, that is, in Spain, this was not sanctioned under sports disciplinary law because the law made it so, and some people who were there made sure the law allowed this to expire. It's important to highlight this, and that's why Madrid is going to UEFA, because UEFA can actually sanction the club, UEFA. And now let's see how, through the famous Article 4, now let's see how it says a systemic risk of the utmost seriousness for the integrity of the competitions, of course, by presenting evidence of undue influence over referees, which violates key principles like competitive equality, neutrality, impartiality, and unpredictability of results. In this context, Real Madrid has called for the immediate resumption of the disciplinary proceedings that were initiated at the time by UEFA, considering it unacceptable that this situation has been prolonged over time, since its persistence seriously compromises the credibility of football, its institutions, and its leaders. Therefore, it demands a firm, exemplary, and immediate response in the sports field, regardless of the outcome of the ongoing judicial proceedings. This is separate. Madrid is right to make this distinction here. For this reason, our club requests that UEFA, in the exercise of its own autonomous and independent authority, adopt the appropriate disciplinary and restorative measures in order to guarantee the integrity, transparency, and proper functioning of the competitions. Without this in any case, meaning to replace the function of the state's judicial bodies or to anticipate a criminal classification of the facts. Well, here Madrid is saying, hey, this is separate, but administratively, how is UEFA not going to intervene in this? It's so clear. A club paying the boss of the referees for 20 years, 8.4 million. Madrid did very well with the statement's wording. The report obviously will include this and will be much longer and will include statements from the proceedings, from the judicial process, from the investigation. I mean, what the Sun said and what Laporta said, what Bartomeu said, all contradicting each other, and making it obvious, if it wasn't already, that these payments can't be justified and that it wasn't because of reports, right? In any case, the Sun had some physical reports and the father's reports. In the previous 13 years, he was the one who got paid the most for that, right? In this sense, Real Madrid, appearing in the criminal proceedings as a private prosecutor, will continue to take whatever action is appropriate at each stage of the proceedings, just as it has done from the beginning. Madrid, there. Real Madrid reaffirms its commitment to defending the essential values of sports and will continue to take whatever action is necessary to ensure that incidents of this nature do not go unpunished. Well, Madrid did very well here, honestly. The wording of this statement is very good. I imagine the dossier will be much more forceful. What is this Article 4 by which UEFA can sanction Barça? It reads as follows. Let me share it. Yes, based on all the circumstances and all the information available to UEFA concludes to its full satisfaction that a club has been directly and or indirectly involved. Since the entry into force of Article 50, Paragraph 3 of the UEFA statutes, that is since April 27, 2007, if a club is involved in fixing or influencing a match outcome at national or international level, UEFA will rule that the club cannot participate in the competition. This ineligibility is effective only for one football season. When making its decision, UEFA may rely on, but is not bound by, a decision of a national or international sports body, arbitral tribunal, or a state court. UEFA may refrain from declaring that a club cannot participate in the competition if UEFA is satisfied with the impact of the decision taken in relation to the same factual circumstances by a national or international sports body. The arbitral tribunal or state court has already had the effect of preventing the club from participating in a UEFA club competition. That is, UEFA can perfectly well administratively or in sporting terms sanction a team. In other words, exclude them. Invite them so that they are not eligible to play in the top competition or any competition of the European organization, that is the Champions League for Barcelona. And they can do this right now with all this information. Also, I'm not sure if Real Madrid included this in their dossier, but the federation hid from the public that the tax authorities had already informed them about Enrique Negreira, then held a press conference. They had said they didn't know, that they had no record that it was Enrique Negreira, which means they lied. And of course, the federation didn't pass all that information to the highest European football authority. And well, just because of that, UEFA, of course, just by the statement of what Barça did. Barça paid the second in command of the referees for 20 years. That alone is absolutely enough to sanction them. But also let UEFA say it. Hey, plus, the Royal Spanish Football Federation didn't tell me the truth or give me full information. So guys, I really think this is obvious and just common sense. It's reason enough for UEFA to sanction Barça tomorrow. And I hope they do. And maybe they're just waiting for the World Cup to end so they don't influence certain players and all that, which they shouldn't do either. And I hope they do it as soon as possible. Great move here by Real Madrid. The shame is that they could have done it much earlier because all this information has been around for a long time. I mean, and I put this in parentheses. Hey, watch out for Croatia. It's true that the most striking statements from Luis Enrique, from Valverde, from Negreira's son, we compare them with those from Laporta, with those from Bartomeu. I mean, the contradictions that the witnesses and defendants in the case have made during the investigation phase in the testimonies from just recently, from December, between November, December, and January. It's true that this reactivates things and adds a lot more documentation to that dossier, and that Real Madrid might tell you that they wanted to provide that dossier with much more content, right? That may be, but Real Madrid could have done this much earlier, easily. We know why they haven't done it. We know that too. Anyway, but hey, it's never too late. Like we always say, it's never too late. On the same day, Barça released this other statement, which is incredible, in which they urged La Liga, the Federation, and the CTA to take action regarding the statements made by Florentino Perez. Incredible, incredible. It says, the club urges the co-organizers of the competition, the referees, to defend the reputation of their organizations. And hey, Florentino Perez was not insulted. I mean, look, I think I have it here because this guy said it, because Ramon posted it. Let me see if I have it here. He shared it. I don't have it now, but I'll find it for you right away. Ramon. He posted and cropped it. We all remember. Here it is. Well, this is one of at least 3 or 4 times that he's brought it up on Porta. In the last 2 or 3 years, he's said this. The competition is rigged. Our rival has gotten a series of points by benefiting from referee decisions. Also, Porta even went as far as to say the referees intentionally harm us. Porta has actually said this. Now, they're asking these organizations for protection. And so that they defend themselves against the statements made by Florentino Perez. It's unbelievable. And the referees associations at the time didn't say anything about this. Absolutely nothing. Anyway, that's it. And I really hope, honestly, that today Barca comes out with this. It's unbelievable. Maybe it's also to try to divert attention from what Real Madrid has done, because they know it's going to hurt them a lot. It's going to do them a lot of damage. And watch out, because the other day, Frixia said in a tweet that they say in UEFA, it's just empty words, that they're not going to do anything and so on. Wait, Antonio, hold on. You might end up disappointed, man. See you in the next one. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment, share. Hype up the video. It really helps. I appreciate all the support in the last few days. It's gone up, and that's it. See you in the next one. Hope everything goes well for you. Bye.